Hey guys, today we're going to talk about gradients, opacity, and the warped type tool. We're going to do this in a series of actions. The first thing we're going to do is bring in a photographic element, and then we're going to apply a gradient. Each of these is on different layers, by the way. If you look at this gradient that I've made, it's very similar, if not the same, to the gradient I made in our gradients exercise. I just have the gradient right there. It goes from beige to light blue, baby blue. And I'm just gonna hold on this for a second just so you can get a idea of what I used. And then I'm gonna turn my flower back on, apply a circle selection, fill it with a complementary color. I'm keeping in this in the warm range, a complementary color to blue, and I'm going to adjust the opacity, as you saw there, down to 50%, the layer opacity, and just move that over so it's covering both the gradient and the flower. And then I'm going to apply the type tool. Now the type tool, I can just single click and start typing, and I'm going to apply and kind of go with a theme here, sunshine, and I'm going to go back to the type tool and warp, go up to my warp tool inside the type and choose arc right there, and adjust my bend percentage. And I'm gonna do this to match the radius of my circle. And if I slowly adjust this, I'm gonna go back and adjust the size of sunshine because I think it's too big for this composition. So I'm just gonna scale this down. Remember, to scale down type in Photoshop, you have to click on that bounding box first and then scale it down. And it's almost matching, but not quite. So I'm going to go back to my warp tool and adjust that bend. Back to the warp tool. I like the warp tool in Photoshop because it remembers everything that you did. So you can come back here, whoops, it's a little too much, 100, we don't want that much. I want to match that radius, and I'm getting closer. And if you want to type in an exact amount, you can, but I just like to use a slider. I think that looks pretty good. The great thing about this is that if I choose to type this over or to write something new, I can. I can highlight my type again, just like I can in Microsoft Word, highlight my type, and type something completely new, and it will have the same effect. Daytime seems to work okay in that same warped effect, but if I type in a shorter word, like lily pad, it doesn't necessarily match up, so I'm going to have to finesse this, go back to my warp tool. It doesn't need quite so much bend in the type, so I'm going to adjust that a little bit. I'm going to go back to my move tool and move that up a bit, and I think I might scale it up a bit. And I'm pretty close, but I'm going to go back to my warp tool. Oh, a little bit of rotation there. Just rotate it a bit. Go back to my type tool, my warp tool, and adjust that bend. A little bit too much there. And just wait for a point where that looks good, that it matches that curve. And I think that's pretty effective. We're going to do about 3 of these. With the same type of elements, the warp type, the gradient, and the opacity layer, and we're gonna have a lot of fun. All right, see you next time, guys.